Hello, I'm Keith Raven with Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate Home Services of Northern Indiana, and today I'm going to talk to you about renting versus buying. All right, so one of the first thoughts that most people think about renting versus buying a home is their monthly payment. Generally speaking, your rent is going to be more expensive than buying a home. I know it seems odd, but in most cases, unless you're really going up in value, if you're kind of going, if you're wanting to stay about the same amount of rent that you're paying, you're going to get a much better house, a bigger house, at least in this area, than you would if you're renting. So that's one consideration. And you can get a hold of your lender or somebody, a realtor, a real estate agent can give you in contact with a lender, and they can give you the payment of what your mortgage would be with your insurance and taxes, and you'll have a rough idea. So get a hold of that lender, and then you can compare your rent amount to what it would cost to have a home loan. Another consideration to take into account is if you're financially ready. So when I talk about being financially ready, are you ready for the down payment? You're going to have a down payment, the percentage that you're going to have to put toward the home loan. You're also going to have to be ready to pay for some closing costs. So you've got the down payment, you've got some closing costs, and then what some people forget is the inspection. So you've got several inspections you can do. You can do a whole house inspection, you can do a roof inspection, a furnace inspection, a radon inspection. It's kind of endless on the amount of inspections that you can do. So you've got to have the down payment, you've got to have the money for closing, and then the inspection costs. And then you always want to have a little bit of money extra for appliances or painting or little repairs, little decorating tips, stuff like that that you want to do once you buy the house. So think about your down payment and if you're financially ready to get out of renting and into your long-term investment, which is your home. So you've got to be financially ready to do that. All right, so unlike renting, owning a home is an investment. You've got to think of it as a long-term investment. If you're going to stay in your house 5 years, less than 5 years, I probably wouldn't recommend buying a house at that time if you're going to be moving. But if you're going to be in there for 5 years or longer, you're probably going to have some equity built up. So it's a long-term investment. Unlike renting, where you're kind of giving your money to a landlord or apartment complex and you're really not getting any return for that money, a home should appreciate in value over the years. You'll be paying down that mortgage, so it's kind of like a bank account. You're saving for the future, and it is an investment. So that is one of the big differences of renting. All right, so when you're considering whether you want to rent or go ahead and make that leap and go ahead and buy, make sure you consider that when you're renting, you can't really, when you're renting, you can kind of jump around from place to place every year, maybe every 6 months, every 2 years. You don't have that really long-term commitment compared to buying a home. There's also some utility costs that are normally included in your rent. When you're buying a home, you're paying for all the utilities, so make sure you consider that. You've also got repairs on the houses. Maybe your furnace goes bad, or you get a broken window, a neighbor breaks a window, or you want to paint a wall, or you want to do stuff like that. So when you're buying a home, you've got to pay for all of that stuff. When you're renting, a lot of times they have a maintenance crew that'll take a lot of that stuff and handle it for you. So that's a couple considerations when you're thinking about making the switch. Next, I'm going to go into the pros of buying. That's not nearly as fun as it used to be. I didn't go nearly as fast as I wanted to do. All right, so let's go into some pros of buying a house. So one big advantage is you can do what you want. You can have a fantastic yard if you want. You can kind of let your yard grow out of control if you want. You can paint the walls. You can build an addition. You can put a pool in. You can change your windows. You can do all kinds of stuff. You might not have neighbors unless you're buying a condo or something, or a townhouse. You're not going to have neighbors next to you. You should generally have a backyard that the kids can play in. Lots and lots of pros. You're building equity for long-term future value in buying a house. You've got tax incentives, tons of pros on buying a house. So if you're ready to buy, get a hold of me, 574-229-6803. Again, I'm Keith Raven with Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate. I'm happy to help you. Comment on this video, and we'll talk to you later.